be speaking a lot about Spider-Man today. Surprise, surprise, with the trailer dropping last night. But I thought there was something pretty interesting that kind of came out a little bit earlier this morning that I was reading in an interview with Tom Holland. Now, Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man. I have loved every single person that has played Spider-Man. And I'm really lucky that way. I love Tobey Maguire. I loved Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Everybody likes to play. I like this one more than the other, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'll just say I love all three of them. I think we've been very lucky. As movie fans, I think we have been very, very lucky that every single one of the people they've gotten to play Spider-Man has been really good. At least I think so. Has been really good. And Tom Holland has the advantage that, unlike Tobey Maguire, and more so than Andrew Garfield, he looks 16. He looks 17.
More than any of them.
You would never know this dude is 25 years old. You'd never guess that he was 25 years old. I don't think you'd guess he's 25 years old by looking at him. He can play Spider-Man for a long time. He really can. And by the way, as each year goes by, we don't expect we don't expect Peter to still be in high school. Right? After all the years pass, he's going to have to move on to college. But apparently, Holland is wondering if maybe he should be looking and thinking about moving on. This comes from some folks over at IndieWire who are saying, basically in an interview, Tom Holland is saying, hey, if I'm still playing Peter Parker at 30, which is only 5 years from now, he says, I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something wrong. Let me see if I can find the actual quote here. Okay, let's go back down here. Under this paragraph here, he says this: maybe it's time for me to move on, Holland recently told GQ magazine. Maybe what's best for Spider-Man is that they do a Miles Morales film. I have to take Peter Parker into account as well because he is an important part of my life. If I'm playing Spider-Man after I'm 30, I've done something wrong. And that, of course, comes to us from him. Now, what's also pretty interesting is in this same article here, they talk about a thing with Amy Pascal where it says this. So even if Holland is already eyeing life after Spider-Man, Sony sure as hell does not want to let him go. As Spider-Man producer and former Sony boss Amy Pascal told GQ, I have talked to him about doing like 100 movies more of these films. I am never going to make a Spider-Man movie without him. Are you kidding me? I am never going to make a Spider-Man movie without him. Are you kidding me? All right. So there's a couple of thoughts here. Number one, I don't think Tom Holland at all is eyeing his end of run of Spider-Man. I don't think he is even in the least thinking about when the end of his run of Spider-Man is. I think he and the studios have already long ago worked out what the future of his Spider-Man is after No Way Home. Whether that's in the MCU, whether that's moving him over to Sony, whatever it ends up being, I believe those conversations have happened well over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago or whatever. I think that's all set. When Amy Pascal is saying, yeah, I've already talked to him about doing like 100 more of these things. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. So it does bring up an interesting question, though, about, well, when an actor reaches a certain age, should they move on from it? And I only think that's true if in the case of Spider-Man, if one of the things about Spider-Man was he was like Sprite in Eternals, where one of the things about getting bitten with the radioactive spider is that he can't age anymore. Okay. Well, if that's the case, at some point, Tom Holland, like what's the guy's name who played Angel? Something Borealis? Or what's David Borealis. Yeah. Thank you, Rick. Right with all the knowledge. Oh, David Borealis, right? I get it. Somebody was talking to him, and I cannot remember the name of the actor. Guys in the live chat, help me out here. The name of the actor who played Spike in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And he was just one of the parents in Runaways on Hulu. And I'm trying to remember his name, but you guys, everybody's getting Dave. James Marsters. All right, Ray Ricks was the first one put in Jay Marsters. So I've heard both David and James Marsters talk about this when they bring up the idea of doing a Buffy reboot or whatever. And both of them said the same thing. So Angel and Spike are supposed to be vampires that don't age. And while we look pretty damn good, we don't look the way we looked when we were in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So if they were going to say that about Peter, that he wasn't aging, sure, at some point Tom Holland needs to move on. But why not have we as the audience go along this life journey with Peter Parker? We were there with him through high school. We'll be there with him as he goes to college. We'll be there with him as he leaves college and starts his career and all that kind of stuff. And Tom Holland is the right age to do that. And he's got the looks for it. So number one, I don't think he is at all serious about this. Number two, I don't think he should be serious about this because I think he can play Spider-Man, whether it's in the MCU or in the Sonyverse, whatever it ends up being, for a long time. Kim, let me ask you. Number one, do you think he's being serious, that he's actually thinking about it's time to hang up being Spider-Man? And do you think he should be talking about whether it's time to hang up being Spider-Man? What do you think?
Yes and yes.
Really?
Yes, because what makes the character so endearing is their personal passion for it. And when you lose that passion for the character, it doesn't matter what's on the script, we can feel it. And so I think as an actor, it's one thing to just be like, oh, I just want to be famous. But if you're an actor, you want to challenge yourself. You want meatier roles. Like a lot of times you'll see Disney stars or something go dark, other than Zendaya. I think, Zendaya. I mean, look at what her career has done. I think he wants to challenge himself, and I think he should be thinking about it, because if you're just having an ounce of loss of passion, if you're putting on that suit and you are not feeling the energy, if you are not feeling the passion and still in love with the character that you're playing, I think you should consider moving on, because what we don't want to see is just good casting and now he's getting older and that twinkle in his eye is gone, because he's like, you know what? I want to do other things. I want to challenge myself.
But
I want to go deeper.
Anything to suggest that twinkle, that passion for the character is gone?
No, I haven't. But where's this comment coming from?
Oh, I think it's just him being coy. I think it's just him being, because I agree with you. I think you raise a great point. 100%. If he has lost the passion to play the role, well, it's your job, dude. Just do your job. We all don't feel the passion for our job every day.
It's your job if you signed on, but some people don't continue to sign on and say, I want to hang this up, guys, I'm ready to move on. It's your job if you already signed on.
Like a lot of people are saying
but
that.
if you have an option to sign on for more and you go, you know what? I really just want to explore myself as an actor, you guys. I love that you love this. It's always going to be a part of me, but I'm ready to move on.
See, Daryl Smith Jr. in the live chat is raising a good point, saying, look, we don't want another Jennifer Lawrence situation, who clearly was over.
She packed it in. She packed it in.
Oh, she phoned it in, man.
Yeah.
Like she was great in First Class, but then after First Class, you can just tell she had no interest to be in these X-Men movies. Right?
Thank you, dude. That's exactly what I'm referencing.
That's a great point. I've seen nothing out of Tom Holland but mad, wild passion, excitement, and everything for this.
I do agree with you there. I just feel like our kid is grown up. Our little Peter's grown up, and we got to let him do that and see where his passion goes. I just don't think he's at all
being serious.
We were hearing the same thing about Daniel Craig in the last 007, I think. People were saying the same thing, but the last movie came out, and people are saying it's really good, so...
Well, see, the thing about the Daniel Craig one, that was interesting because he was saying, like, somebody took comments that he made completely out of context. So he said, like the thought about doing another, after Spectre, he said, the thought about doing another Bond movie right now to me is like chewing on broken glass or something like that. But what people took that meant, well, he never wants to do Bond again. It's like, no, what he was really saying was he had just gone through this huge experience, because you're traveling like 8 different countries, shooting this thing, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And he was just finished. And he was saying in context, like, the thought about doing another Bond film right now is like, I'd rather chew on glass. It's like coming out of the gym and saying, the thought about going to the gym again tomorrow is like chewing on glass. But tomorrow you'll feel different, right? So I don't know. I think it's interesting. The question is for you guys. What do you think about Tom Holland's comments? Do you think he's at all seriously saying that he's thinking about hanging it up as Spider-Man? I personally don't think so in the least, but maybe you think there are. Whatever you guys are feeling about this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.